After I graduated film school, this thing would happen where I would periodically catch up with classmates of mine. 3 months after graduation, 6 months after, 1 year after, 2 years after. And during that time, I was stressed. Like, I was feeling the squeeze. I was doing so much because I just desperately wanted to be a writer. And for the most part, a lot of my classmates were too, but there were a lot of people who, like, every time I would catch up with them, they were still working on the same damn script. They had one project on their slate. And it would be like, oh yeah, now I'm halfway through. Oh, I kind of started over, I'm doing a rewrite. And look, I'm not saying this to say like I'm more productive or I'm busier than anyone else. I'm saying this because I know very few things about the industry because it is kind of an unknowable industry. But the one thing that I do know and that I would strongly encourage you to do is to not just have one thing. Can you focus on one thing? Sure, but you should have another idea, another outline. I've talked about it before on here, but one of my good writer friends, Colby Day, he has a Substack and he basically makes a journal of like all the projects he's working on at one time. And there's always like 7 or 8 things. Because guess what? If you spend years of your life working on the one script, hey, it might end up being really good. It might get sold, it might get made, but it probably won't. Statistically, you have to have many irons in the fire. Like you just have to survive. Like right now, I have this scratch piece of paper. I wrote this down today because I was like, I need to get my brain straight. Here's all the things I'm working on right now. I have a script that I'm like editing, polishing. It's a biopic. I have another script that is basically done. I'm doing final tweaks and proofreading. That script will go out soon via my reps. I have a book that I'm editing based off an editor's notes who read it and said, hey, if you do these notes, you can resubmit it. I have a pitch that I'm working on that I'm co-writing. We're in that phase where we're like developing the pitch with the producer, so we have to do notes on the pitch. I have another pitch, first ever TV pitch. I think it's a really good idea. Very early stages of that. I want to figure out like characters, just beat it out a little bit more. I need to come up with a list of really good ideas for the next spec script. So when my reps take out the script that's ready to go, we can begin working on the next thing because that's going to take time to develop. It's going to take time to write. And then lastly, I have another book, not a book that I wrote, a book that somebody else wrote that my management company has the rights to. And they were like, hey, do you have any ideas on pitching this? We own it. That is 7 things. There are more that I'm forgetting, I think. But the reason why this is possible and necessary is it's not like I have 8 scripts that are all in different windows on my computer. These are all in different phases, especially like when you're developing a pitch for something, it could just be a couple pages. It's like a treatment. It's very general. This is all to say that in my opinion, if you want to become a writer, you have to get good at doing this. And again, I don't want to freak you out or make you feel unproductive or less than. But if you're working on something right now, just think like, what would be my next thing? Keep a little list of ideas in the corner of your computer screen that you can just always be adding to. Diversify, write a movie, a TV show, a short story that you can turn into a movie or TV show. If you only have one thing and it comes to a brutal halt or it dies or a movie comes out with the exact same premise, you're not going to feel good.